Hi, welcome back to Swiss Family Fun. Today we've got a pack list for your winter walks in Switzerland. Alright, today we're going to talk about what to wear for a winter walk with your family. I did a couple winter walks last year and some snowshoeing, and I learned a bit about how to dress and what stuff to bring. It's a little bit different than hiking. And if you're not used to going on winter walks in Switzerland, maybe it's a little different. I might have some other gear. So let's see what I got. First, base layers. And all the things I'm going to show you are same for my kids, and I'll let you know if it's different. Let's start with the base layers. I typically wear a very thin thermal layer on the bottom. I have gone out there with my thick thermals and dressed for a winter day, and then I'm stripping off those layers really quick because it can get so hot when you're walking on the trail, especially if you go on a sunny day. So be careful about dressing too warmly. I typically wear just a basic sport top, and then I will wear my ski pants. This is important. You've got to have waterproof pants. Even though they can be a little hot, I'm much happier if I have waterproof, so I need to sit on the snow or we're in some deep snow. It just gives you a lot more flexibility, so I always wear that. The nice thing about the bottom of the ski pants is they typically have this inner layer of the gaiter, which has an elastic, and it goes around your snowshoe or your hiking shoe, and it helps keep the snow out. So I've gone on a winter walk in jeans, and it's okay, but I get a lot more snowing. Then on the top, I usually bring a fleece with me, but I put it in my backpack. I almost never need to wear it. In fact, most of the time I'm just wearing my sport top because you get so warm. And then I usually bring my ski jacket. I've never needed to use it except for at the end of the hot hike when I'm waiting for the train. But I feel like if weather's going to move in, it's better to be prepared. So you also need to think about your rest periods and at the end of the hike when you start to cool off and you sweat and you can get really cold. So I typically am putting on the jacket when we're having a snack or a picnic, or at the end when we're waiting for the bus out in the cold. So you got to have it even though you're mostly not going to be wearing it on the hike. And that's the same for the kids. You know, kids have a different tolerance for temperatures and what they're willing to wear. So sometimes my kids will wear all of their ski stuff and not want to take off any layers. And sometimes they're down to a short sleeve t-shirt. You just never know. It's better to be prepared. So you're going to need a backpack to carry all of your layers just in case. I think I forgot to talk about the socks earlier. I usually have us all wear ski socks. That way they're long, which helps if any snow happens to get in there. They usually have some padding at the toe. Maybe they're made out of some warmer material, but we just have ski socks and we just use them for all of winter activities. So I definitely recommend getting these at any sports store, and they're typically on sale in January and February anyway, so you can get these pretty inexpensively. Now let's talk about shoes for a winter walk. My kids always use their snow boots. We have this kind, the Kamek brand or an off brand, where it has this one-piece plastic part. It has a lot of tread on the bottom, and it has the supposedly waterproof section on the top that goes quite high and can cinch so it keeps the snow out. They're happy in these. I find this style very uncomfortable, so I don't use it. My foot moves around too much in it and doesn't have a really secure fit, so I get blisters. So I tried a lot of different snowshoes, and I just don't like snowshoes for hiking. So I just wear my regular summer hiking shoes. I use the one that have the ankle support so it keeps out some of the snow. And I would prefer to wear gaiters with them, which I don't have yet. But when I wear my snow pants, it does have the inner part of the snow pants that cinch around the bottom of the shoe. So it kind of keeps it out. They have good tread on the bottom. I usually I take out the normal sole and I put in an insulated padded sole. This one has memory foam that I really like. It keeps it a little bit warmer and is much more comfortable. Like I said, these are waterproof, so my feet have been very warm and dry in these, and I much prefer these to any snow boot that I've ever had in terms of going on a winter walk. These I've also used with snowshoes, and they can also be used with crampons if you are not in deep snow, but you just needed a little more traction. All right, that's it for shoes. So I thought of another tip. One thing my kids like to bring are their pajamas or these really cozy onesies. So then they can strip off all of their wet snow gear and then get in these cozy pajamas for the ride home. Right now we're going to talk about the backpacks. Now when I go skiing, I typically bring this small pack. and I will put, because a lot of the ski resorts here, you have to take a cable car from the valley up to reach the resort, and you really don't want to go all the way down the valley if you forgot something. So I'll put extra socks, extra gloves in here, I'll put a water bottle, some snacks, and I don't necessarily carry this on me all day, but I'll hang it at the picnic area that a lot of the resorts have near the cable car station, so if we need anything emergency-wise, it's in this pack. When the kids were little, then I sometimes packed this with more stuff because we needed the emergency stuff right then. It's not that comfortable because it doesn't have any waist straps or padded belt, so you really don't want to pack too much in a pack like this. Now, for many, many years, I had this backpack, which is 20 liters. It was pretty much big enough for whatever I needed. It had this air comfort feature where the backpack is not sitting around your back, which is required, I think. It was okay, but I really tried to pack way too much stuff, and the waist belt wasn't padded, so the weight would go onto this, but it wasn't padded. But this size of 20 liter I think is sufficient, and I often still use this just because it's smaller than my big pack. Now on a winter hike, you're often taking a lot of layers. So even though you may not be going very far, you may choose to bring your big pack. I feel a little ridiculous bringing this huge pack, which I love. It's my new 40 liter pack. But I can fit everything in here. I can fit 3 ski jackets, 3 fleeces, and our lunch, all sorts of things in here. And those things are not that heavy, they're just really bulky. So that's why I like bringing the big pack. I typically don't make my kids carry a pack on these winter walks because they really want to play in the snow and run around, and the pack is dragging them down. When we're on a hike, it's a little bit different because we're trying to make time, but I feel like on a winter walk it's more about having fun as well and being in the snowy environment, and they just need to be free. The only things I really carry besides our layers are water, which is really important, of course. I just got these water bladders for the whole family. I had one, and then we were all sharing it. It was kind of gross because it was just the one straw, and everyone was putting their mouth all over it after they ate chips. Disgusting. So now everyone has their own, and this is great because it just stays in the backpack. You don't have to get your whole water bottle out, and then the straw is there. I really like this brand. It's Hydro Pack Shapeshift. I've had a lot of different brands, and I've had a lot of problems with them, and this one I really, really like. And then I often will just have a plastic water bottle on the side because sometimes they want to set the pack down and go sit somewhere else with the water bottle, and it's ridiculous to have to carry this bladder or your backpack with you when you're doing something else. So I always have a bottle as well as the bladder, and sometimes I'll use, if this has more water in it, then I'll use this to fill up the bottle. Besides that, I just usually take snacks and anything we need for the picnic. Often we're hiking to a restaurant, so I really don't have to carry that much food. So my kids are older now, so I don't have to carry as much gear as some people that have younger kids. Now we have some extras to think about when you're going on the hike. I would bring your ski gloves, your snow gloves, because the kids are going to want to play in the snow and you don't want them to have wet, cold hands. But they're way too hot for hiking, so they're usually in the backpack until we're going to build a snowman, and then we pull them out. Instead, I bring little mittens, light mittens, because they keep off the cold, but they're less bulky and they're not so hot. Often we just strip off all of the mittens anyway, but definitely bring the snow gloves and maybe some mittens. Now for hats, since you're going out into winter, you're going to think that you want your warm winter hat, which I usually pack, again, for the rest periods and when we get cold. But maybe what you don't think about is you really need a sun hat. So I'm usually wearing my baseball hat or visor to keep the sun out of my eyes, because usually you're going to want to go on a winter hike when it's really beautiful out and sunny, and that's why you also need to remember to bring your sun cream, because we always get burned, we forget. I try and keep this in our snow box so it always comes with us, or my backpack, but there's so many times when I've forgotten that we come back with red faces, so don't forget that. And definitely bring your sunglasses. So when you're on a winter walk, you don't need your goggles if it's not snowing, but everyone needs sunglasses because that sun is so bright, so do not forget that. Now, if you expect some weather to come in or maybe some wind, it's always good to pack a scarf, but what is better are these buffs. So this is a circular fabric that's sewn into a circle, a long tube. And I really like these ones that have the fleece on the bottom and then this thinner fabric on the top. I've also had these snow masks, which we use in really extreme conditions where it has a little part cut out for the face, but my kids find these really uncomfortable and they're really inflexible because they only just have the cutout and there's no way to move them in a different formation. Buff is much more flexible. Now I'm going to demonstrate it. So, let's see. Pull it on. And if you need the full mask, which is nice if some wind picks up, you can leave the thinner fabric around your face. You can pull it up to cover up your nose. My kids have all sorts of formations that they do with this thing. It can also just be brought all the way down as a scarf, and then you don't have all the extra pieces floating around. You have to tuck them in anywhere, and it just sits there, and it folds up really compactly to put in your backpack or in the pocket of your jacket. One of my favorite things that's helped keep everything organized is this big plastic bucket. Now this only works if you're using a car, because it's obviously enormous. But what I do is we throw all the stuff that they're not wearing on their bodies in the bucket. And then we do a pack check, gloves, jacket, helmet if we're going skiing, extra socks, whatever. Then I know everything's in the bucket and I'm not making my kids responsible for anything. Even at 12 years old, my kids have shown up at the mountain with no ski jacket. It's ridiculous. So everything goes in the bucket. Then I take the bucket to the car, everyone uses all the junk, then everything goes, all the stuff when it's wet and gross goes back in the bucket, and then I take the whole bucket in the house, I wash everything, and it goes back in the bucket. So it's really just a place to throw everything that is related to skis. Now we've had one fail. I often keep this in a shower that we don't use in the smaller bathroom, and I hang a lot of the stuff to dry in there. This was a fail because last week my son went to get his ski pants, which were hanging on the handle of the water for the shower, and he pulled his ski pants and also turned on the shower, and the shower sprayed into this box and filled it with water and soaked everything for the ski day the next day, including our helmets. Oh gosh. So, everything's not always perfect. When the kids were little, we would bring a sled and drag them on the sled. We have the old-timey style DeVos wood sled, and this is way better than the plastic sleds. We've had the plastic sleds and we've used them, but I find them quite heavy, just awkward to drag. And these wood sleds that have the two metal rails on the bottom really cut through any conditions, and so they're much more comfortable. You can also attach a seat for small children to that sled, so it makes it easier for them. And also, when you're going to go sledding, they're long enough that you can fit an adult and a child on it. But now the kids are older, I don't have to drag them anymore. I always just put one of these little shovel style sleds in the backpack, or a couple of them. They're so light and compact, and then that way if there is any sledding to be had, or they want to use this to dig and make a snowman or snow fort, which is always happening, we always have this with us. This also makes a great place to sit when there's no benches and you want to sit on the snow. I love these. I also have these walking sticks. These are my summer walking sticks, and they're just these lightweight ones that expand. They're really easy to just throw in my pack. I typically don't end up using them on the winter walk, but if there is icing conditions or maybe it's a little steep, when I'm carrying the backpack I need some balance, so the sticks come in handy. Thanks for watching. I hope you found a few helpful tips and are excited for your next winter walk. In the description below, I'll link to our website where we have a variety of winter walks for families in Switzerland. It has all the logistics, how to get there, what's special for kids along the way. Jessica over at Swiss Expat Family has done a similar video, a pack list for winter walking, but she has 4 kids, the youngest which is 3, so with the smaller kids you may bring slightly different things, and I think she'll have some good tips for you, so I'll link to that below as well. I hope you have a great time this winter, and check back soon for more tips and more winter walks and more fun things to do with your family in Switzerland.